This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No. Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Good morning, everybody. Good to see everyone on the panel looking fine. And out you, I can see you guys. You're all looking fine, too. All right, we've been following this
Teaching
story.
kindergarten?
And we all feel happy about ourselves. All right, we've been following this story for a while now. But today, we do know that President Biden's son, Hunter Biden, was found guilty. So a jury deliberated for around 3 hours over 2 days before finding him guilty on all 3 counts. He was found guilty of making 2 false statements by claiming he was not addicted or using illegal drugs when trying to purchase a gun. He was also found guilty of unlawfully possessing that gun for 11 days as a drug user. All 3 counts are felony charges, and he could face up to 25 years in prison and be fined up to $750,000. Now, it's likely he'll receive far less than that. What do we think of this, Erica Cobb? What do we think of this?
I don't think anyone's shocked by this. The moment that they didn't accept the plea deal, we knew that obviously he had already pretty much admitted that this is what happened.
Right.
I find it fascinating, though, because we talk so much about gun control in order to, save our children in our communities. And this is what we're focusing on. It does seem strange. It seems very strange. And as someone who's been very honest about being a responsible gun owner, I've heard and seen a lot of things because I do go to training pretty regularly. And while this is obviously against the law, and I would suggest that there are a lot of people out there who are very much for owning a gun responsibly, and you know people who are Hunter Bidens. I think that now is the time to blow whistles on those people as well. I'm not saying that what he did was okay. We all know that he broke the law. But I think that if we're going to do this, we should probably be a little bit more forthcoming with there's more than one Hunter Biden in this country.
That's fair.
I would assume that it'd be the majority of people. I mean, if you just do the math, the opioid crisis engulfed this country, and this is a country that is also engulfed in firearms. If you throw in alcohol, which is considered a drug, and then you throw meth in there, throw crack in there, throw marijuana, which is legal in probably more than half the states, this country has a lot of guns and a lot of drugs that are accessible at all times. If you consider alcohol a drug, you can get that at the movie theater. So everybody that has, just doing math, everybody that legally purchased a gun, went through the paperwork process, probably is using recreationally one of those drugs, if not many of them. So I just don't, I wonder, Jeff, if this sets a precedent for almost being able to call people out like, oh, I don't like my neighbor Jeff. I'm going to have my brother who works for the FBI looking at the gun. I know he smokes weed, and I know he has a gun.
Let me just fill you in with that.
I wonder, could that be used?
Well, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said this, quote, I don't think the average American would have been charged with that gun thing, which is very similar to what you're saying. I don't see any good coming from that. That comes from a direct opposite person on the other side who happens to know Hunter and Joe Biden very, very well. What do you think about that? With the average person, talk to me about what you think.
I have no idea, but I do think that this is a political game that they're playing with our court systems, which used to be the highest respect or level that we had for justice in this country, and it's been taken over by a political coup. This is not going to end. They went after Donald Trump, they got him. Now Trump-appointed judges are going after the other side, and it's not going to stop there. It's going to continue. We set a precedent already. I don't think this is about guns or about prostitutes. Excuse me if I didn't reference her well. But I don't think it's about that. It's about getting the other side, and this isn't going to stop. It's going to continue to go. So we've set the precedent now for what goes on in this country, and they're using our court system to play their games.
And waste our time. I think a lot of Americans have a lot of concerns in terms of how much college is going to cost. Are their kids safe going to school? What are we going to do about these rising prices?
I don't know if it's a waste of time. The president's son, I don't know. There's some kind of a higher scrutiny you want to see. You want to see just, Joe Biden also says he will not pardon if he does get any kind of jail time or whatever it is. I don't know. I think that
Is there a higher scrutiny? scrutiny. I would not
Like he doesn't
be
have any
able-
power?
I honestly wouldn't be able to this day, pick out Hunter Biden in a lineup. I really wouldn't. There's nothing about Hunter Biden's life that affects mine or anyone else's here. I mean, let's be 100% honest about it. And I'm not trying to defend the guy.
Right.
It just seems like such a strange thing that we're talking about. It's like people talk about the person who is in the office or the person who's in the spotlight, but then generally there's this like thing where it's like if you have people in your life who want to be in the spotlight, then we know them. If they don't, then we kind of don't. It's just the whole thing is strange to me. It's very strange.
Let us know what you guys think. We would love to hear from you. Coming up on DBL, we're going to talk with a woman who discovered that her father was a serial killer. Will she ever be able to forgive him after he reached out from prison? And the dire state of dining as more and more chains close locations across the country. What's causing the so-called restaurant apocalypse? Welcome back to DBL. Are you dining out as much as you used to, or is it getting so expensive that you're eating out less, if even at all? Well, all across the country, popular chain restaurants are facing what some are calling the restaurant apocalypse. Last month, Red Lobster, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy and closed nearly 100 stores across all around the country. Cracker Barrel, with restaurants in 45 states, has seen its stock price plummet over the past year, and newer restaurants like the upscale burger bar BurgerFi are fighting to survive. Even fast food restaurants like McDonald's are also struggling after customers revolted over a $16 bill for a burger, large fries, and a drink. So what's behind the restaurant apocalypse? Experts are saying issues like rising food prices, higher wages, and inflation are in general part of the problem. And now some restaurants are adapting, like this Steak and Shake, which now requires customers to scan a QR code from your receipt to be able to get your drink from the soda fountain.
Can you also not put your finger right where I'm going to put my drink, you nasty human?
Can I? Thank you.
That's where the lip of my cup's gonna be.
I agree with
Check out
Val.
Scotty Fear on Instagram.
Or filling their water cup with soda, which maybe I've done one or twice. Okay, DBL Nation, we always want to hear from you. Are you dining out as much as you used to? We need you to go to dblvote.com to weigh in. I saw an advertisement for Chili's that's like, is McDonald's too expensive? Come here.
And
I was
I'm
like,
here
yo, what is going on?
As somebody that was a middle school teacher and the Chili's was right up the street every
Mm-hmm.
Friday, I don't know how it is in other places, but Chili's used to throw down, bro.
Yeah.
You could go in there and you could have some drinks and you could have some apps and it wouldn't break your
And those
wallet.
beers stay cold, like the coldest
Erica,
beer.
they pull
You
those
like the cold
mugs
beer
out
glass.
like one of
Chili's
the
has
X-Men.
the
Yes.
coldest beer
You love
I've
the glass.
ever
They
tasted.
freeze the mug, yeah.
This is very exciting. Just so you guys know, 67%, very exciting, say that increased costs make dining out too expensive. 30% won't even try a restaurant without a coupon or discount. It's a prohibitive. I can't do it anymore. And I also think the price gouging is so bad that the service sucks because they're not getting paid well. So what do they care? So what's the experience overall is like a 2 out of 10.
I probably dine out more than the average person.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, my husband and I do. A lot of it has to do with just our proximity
To the
a
restaurant.
lot of food.
Right,
You know,
right.
like, so it'll just be like, oh God, I'm starving, I need to eat right now, let's go down the street, you know,
Yeah.
that type of thing. What I've noticed is places that we've been going to for years, they'll either raise their prices or keep their prices the same, but they'll only have half of the quantity. Or they've started to put the 20% auto grat, which takes care of everyone in the front and
Automatic
the back.
gratuity.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen
automatic
that
gratuity.
recently.
Front and the back of the house. I don't mind it simply because I'm going to tip 20%. I feel like it's my duty as someone who has worked in the service industry to continue to do that. I start 20%, or if it's really great, more. But when you start looking at those numbers, and what I don't like is when people aren't transparent about what's actually happening.
Right.
I don't mind supporting, especially a family-owned neighborhood establishment. I want them to thrive. But I do think that if there was more transparency in why this dish used to have 8 and now it has 6, or
Right.
why this dish is half the thing, or why it went up $2.
Right.
I think people would be more forthcoming in wanting to, support them.
Yeah.
Jeff,
Wait,
you have
you're a
kids.
big-
I want to hear about, like, what do you are the target for these restaurants. You and your family are what they have on a board.
Yeah, we go out on special occasions, kind of like I did growing up. We didn't go out. My mom cooked or my dad cooked, and I love to barbecue. But I think there's a lot of things going in. Like, I love coming to events and stuff, but if me and my wife come to an event, it's almost $100 each way. I live like 40 minutes from the studio. That's almost $100. Plus my babysitter's more than $100. That's $300 before we even did anything. You put all that together, I mean, it's expensive to go out. And there's certain restaurants around my neighborhood that are quick, like sandwich places, but they flip that tip thing in there. I don't even want to deal with it anymore. I don't know what to do, what's right. Like Erica said, if somebody's waiting on me at a restaurant and I am out for that special occasion, I'm going to tip you more than 20. I'm going to give you 25, 30% because you're waiting on me for an hour. To go there and have that shame and embarrassment of getting my kid sandwiches and then there's some 15-year-old and you're like, 50%? You're like,
know.
what? I'm not coming here anymore. I'm going to the store. I'm going to make my own sandwiches. We keep debating about inflation in this country, and one side says there's no inflation. The other side's like, I'm the other side. Things are crazy. I can't even go out. If I go out, it's $500 to meet you guys downtown and get a babysit.
That's insane.
It's insane.
That's insane.
That is really insane. And a lot of it is inflation, and a lot of it's price gouging as well. So I want people to recognize that. Let's take a look at the poll. Are you dining out as much as you used to? Just as often, say 15%, 14%. Oh, okay, so it says 66% are saying less. Sorry about that technical glitch. So a large percentage of you are saying you dine out less. I did it. I said it. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Melissa Moore's dad was living a double life. He was a trucker whose road trips became a killing spree, eventually landing him in prison. Now his daughter has turned her tragedy into advocacy, writing a book and producing multiple criminal documentaries. Earlier, we spoke with her.
Please welcome to DBL, Melissa Moore. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for being here. So when did you find out that your dad was a serial killer, and who told you?
So it was in 1995. We were told when my father was arrested, he had written a confessional letter that he sent to my grandfather, his dad. And in that letter, he says, "I am truly the black sheep of the family. I murdered 8 women, assaulted more." And obviously, I haven't seen that letter since 1995, but it's seared in my memory, that letter.
Can I ask you how that felt? I mean, I can't imagine there's a word for that emotion, but what was going through you at that time?
Shock, disbelief, and something that was really hard to articulate as a young woman was the intuition, the feeling that I would have that I wasn't safe. So with my father, I didn't feel safe around him, and that didn't logically make sense, but I now know hindsight why I felt that way. I mean, one of the last memories I have of my father is actually sitting down with him as a teenager about to get my driver's license, and we're at a diner, and he starts to tell me that he has something he needs to tell me, but if he tells me, then I'll go to the authorities. And I always look back to that last conversation I had with him before his arrest and wonder, what would have happened if he did tell me?
Yeah. Wow.
You kind of answered my question, but looking back, besides that conversation, was there anything out of place? Like, you're like, something's off with my dad, just looking back in hindsight.
Well, there were many things, but I mean, my frame of reference was just my father. You know, your family unit is your frame of reference when you're growing up. And so I didn't know that what I was experiencing was abnormal. Let me see how I can articulate it. I knew it wasn't right. My father had an obsession with true crime. He would get true crime magazines. I would watch Unsolved Mysteries with my father, and he would say often, "I know how to kill someone and get away with it."
Wow.
I mean, those are just fragments. There's a lot more to share. There's all these little tiny pieces, little breadcrumbs along the way that when you put them all together, it now makes perfect sense, but in the moment, it doesn't.
You posted videos on TikTok sharing the letters that your dad sent to you from prison. What did he say to you in them?
Well, the letter that I posted on TikTok was a recent one. I had just gotten married, and I was surprised when I got a letter from my father. And the first thing, like you see in that video, is a picture of my husband and I on our wedding day. And when I open that letter and I see a picture of myself, I realized that my dad was following my life from a distance. And I decided I would share this letter publicly because I think it was just a way for me to express my shock. And it wasn't a way to invoke pity. I didn't need pity from anybody. I just wanted to share, like, this is what my life looks like. Even now, 30 years later, he's still in my life and in a unique, bizarre way.
It's chilling, absolutely chilling. We only have about a minute left, but something else we wanted to ask you was about Gypsy Rose Blanchard, because we talk a lot about her on the show. You were an executive producer on her prison confessions. What surprised you the most about her story?
Yeah, so I met with Gypsy about 7 years ago, and I've been following her journey in prison. I found that she was a woman who was coming of age in prison. She was being raised by inmates or being taught about the world from other women inmates, and I found that really fascinating. And one thing that drew me to the true crime documentary space is, as a person who experienced, violence and trauma and crime, I always wanted a way to tell my story, and that's what I connected with Gypsy, is that she told me that everybody took her story and told it besides herself. And so I wanted to empower her to tell her own story.
Wow. Melissa, thank you so much for your transparency, for joining us. DBL Nation, you can listen to Melissa's story on the True Crime podcast and learn more about her projects on her social media site at Life After Crime. Thank you again, Melissa. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
The Caribbean is calling you. This June, we're celebrating Caribbean Heritage Month with Sandals by giving away 2 all-inclusive vacations to any Sandals resort of your choice. Watch DBL every day for a word of the day. Then enter at dailyglasslive.com/sandals for your chance to win a 4-day, 3-night escape for 2. The winner will be announced on DBL June 26. Make memories for a lifetime and start entering for your chance to win a trip to any Sandals resort. Today's word of the day is seafood.
We were just talking about oysters, huh? Okay, welcome back. We got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. Steph, what do you have for us today? Let's go shopping.
Guess what this is? It is the Sharper Image Calming Heat Sauna Wrap. It provides a detox to sweat out toxins, it can burn calories, it can help your blood circulation, and it's also going to help you relax. So you simply lay inside of it and let your problems melt away.
Oh my God.
So normally this is $299, very expensive.
Yeah.
We've got it for $119.99. That is saving you guys 60%.
Fantastic, and a good price for that as well.
I know, fabulous,
Wow.
huh? Next up today, we've got the Cuisinart Advantage 6-piece ceramic coated nautical knife set. This holder that the knives are on, this wooden block, it does not come with the deal, only the knives.
Got it.
These professional quality stainless steel knives have got a cutting edge non-stick coating that makes slicing so much easier. And what makes this set even better is that it comes with a lifetime warranty.
Ooh, I like that.
Normally, this 6-piece set is $65.
That's not bad, right?
We've got it for $19. That's saving 71%.
All of those knives.
I know. It's
for
really
19.
good. Absolutely fantastic. Now, this is so snazzy. Check this out. It is the No Modo wireless wearable Bluetooth speaker. It sits around your neck, right next to your ears. It easily connects to your smartphone, tablet, or any other Bluetooth device. Normally, this is $60.
Okay.
We've got it for $24.99.
Ooh, I like it.
It's saving 58%.
I love that.
Our last product today is the Caloric High-Speed Nutrition Blender.
Ooh.
So not only is this great to make smoothies, but you can also make soups, salsas, dips, and so much more. And with the included lids, the blending container easily turns into a to-go cup. Normally this is $90.
Oh.
We've got it for $34.99. That's saving 61%.
This is great, and then you just have it to go. It could not be easy. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or just scan the QR code right on screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph.
That blender will be mine.
Okay.
Wow.
You better
That was like-
you better get it out of Tori's trunk.
That sounds so ominous. Like,
Okay, listen to this.
It will be mine.
Megan spoke out about dining out. She says, we dine out once a month now versus twice a week. It's not that we can't afford it. It's that I don't want to pay that much to eat half crummy food. That's what you were kind of saying there, Erica.
Yeah. I think you also, if you do it too much, it kind of loses its luster.
Yeah, very the luster. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Luster.